25 right.
Okay.
But it's not working right now.
No. It's not working. What's wrong? What's going on?
There.
You got it?
Yes, we have it now.
Is
Okay.
it looking? Can you see?
So,
Good?
yeah, so
Yeah.
we're getting ready to get started.
Does she want anything
So-
except the appetizer?
What else you gonna have?
I can do the shrimp fried rice.
Okay, rice. Okay, great. And I want mine spicy.
Okay.
Okay.
Yours want normal?
Hello, everybody, and this is Wanda Williams, and welcome to Wine with Wanda Wednesday. And today we are at a beautiful restaurant in East Lansing. The name of this restaurant is called Chef Gum on Clipper Street. And they have very, very good food here. And as you can see today, we're drinking Sweet Revenge red wine. And we're going to have dinner. We're going to have a conversation about the ABCs of mortgage lending. So today, my special guest is Mr. Rick.Lewellyn from Finance of America. Rick, how long have you and I known each other?
Many years.
Many years. Okay, awesome. And so, whenever I am working with a buyer, it's important for me that I entrust them with someone that is very capable and very good with mortgage lending. You have to have someone that is a good communicator, and you have to have someone with experience. And Rick meets those qualifications. So with that, let's talk about the benefits of getting approved and what's in it for you, the buyer. So go ahead, Rick, and tell us about that.
Absolutely, Wanda. Thank you for inviting me today.
You're
I'm
welcome.
Very enjoying being here and sharing with people about mortgages today.
Yes.
It is very important when you start out in the home buying process to get pre-approved. There's many aspects that you want to be prepared with. One is you want to make sure that you're qualified for the price range of homes that you want to be shopping for, and also that price range equals the payment budget that you want to meet as your goal. Along with that, you also want to be aware of not only the monthly payment, but how much cash do you need to close, along with what programs you qualify for.
Okay.
There's so many different programs out there that it takes an expert like myself, I've done this for 30 years, to be able to sift through all of your financial information and find the best program for you. So when we go through that and you start working with a professional like Wanda to find your new home, she's able to be laser focused on exactly what you're looking for, the price range, along with the, as I call the amenities of the homes that you're looking for in the neighborhood and school district. So all that's important. You get a good start in the home buying process.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to get on with the ABCs of getting your mortgage approved. Tell us, how do you go about applying for a mortgage?
Today it's changed quite a bit. When I started in the business, I met with all my clients in person. We sat down and we penned through an application. We copied their documents, and today, majority of the clients we work with, it's a matter of I talk to them on the phone, or I simply send them or text them my online app. They can easily put in information when it's convenient for them, and even upload their documents or W-2s and pay stubs I need in order to do their full approval. We can still do a application through the computer, and we can also do an application over the phone where I can just talk to them on the phone, get their information, and get them going, because it's very important that we get them started in the process right away so they can get that approval quickly and get on a house shopping process.
About how long does it take to get that pre-approval, and how does a pre-approval differ from a pre-qualification?
Good question, Wanda.
Okay.
A pre-qualification is a lender just telling you, I think you qualify. A pre-approval means that lender has pulled your credit report, verified income, and verified assets, so that lender knows that you do actually qualify. So it's not hearsay, it's concrete information, the same information that my underwriters look at when they do a formal approval of a mortgage. So it's important that we go through those processes, and there are so many little hiccups in the system, because even certain programs are only eligible for certain areas, or some programs are only eligible for certain household income limits. So all of this is very complex, and that's why you need a mortgage professional to help you through this and sift
Okay.
through it to get you on the right start.
Okay, so we talked about A, applying for a mortgage.
Yep.
So now we're going to talk about B.
Okay.
So B is, what is it that a buyer needs to do to prepare themselves with the financial information that you are going to require in order to get them pre-approved for a mortgage?
Excellent question. Credit is the most important. That's the basis of all mortgages is credit. Beyond that, we have income, which typically is going to be 30 days paycheck stubs. It's going to be W-2s from the
Okay.
last 2 years. And if they're self-employed, it's actually tax returns for the last 2 years. And for assets, which is a third component, it's typically going to be bank statements or investment statements, or just knowing that they have ability to have money gifted if they have parents that are gifting or somebody that's actually helping to purchase their first home, as an example. So that's B.
Oh, okay. Well, I would like to stay on this subject just for a little
Sure.
while longer.
Yeah.
And I would like to know, what about the situations where somebody might need what they call a no documentation loan? Do you do those? And when would somebody need to use a no documentation loan?
The only type of no-doc loans out today are for self-employed borrowers, and they're
Okay.
not true no-doc. We can actually use bank statements too,
Okay.
instead of W-2s and traditional income verification.
Okay.
And for investment properties, investors, typically they have a lot of properties that's very complex for their
Okay.
finances, and we will offer those on a true no-doc loan, and they can
Okay.
literally, we do not collect any income information at all,
Okay.
only assets. They have money
Okay.
for down payment. And we offer that on somebody that's purchasing a home that's going to be renting it out,
Okay.
or somebody that's going to be flipping a property, and they're going to buy a property that's distressed and they want to repair it and resell it.
Oh, okay.
And that's called a fix and flip area.
Oh,
And
okay.
all those loans for us are no income verification,
Okay, awesome.
which is unique to Finance of America.
Okay, great. Now, we talked about A, applying for a mortgage. We talked about B, what the buyer needs as far as financial information. So now we're going to talk about C, which is really where you come in at, because a lot of times people are not aware of the various programs that exist out here in order for them to purchase a home. And so I would like for you to tell us, by using your expertise, what various programs are out here for buyers.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The most common is conventional. A normal conventional loan is at least 5% down or more.
Okay.
And that's like a bank loan or any basic loan that you want to think about. FHA is a loan that's 3.5% down payment.
Okay.
And that's for buyers that maybe they have a few credit bumps, maybe they've had a few jobs in the last couple of years.
Okay.
Basically less than a perfect profile for conventional. This loan is a government-backed mortgage to help those people, those
Okay.
families get into homes.
Okay.
VA is for our veterans, and
Okay.
VA is a zero down mortgage,
Okay.
and we've done several of those.
Yes, we have.
And then we have USDA, which is rural development. Rural development is a zero down mortgage similar to a VA mortgage, except the property has to be in certain locations. I mean, it can't be like in the city of Lansing,
Right.
but it could be out in Mason, or it could be
Okay.
in surrounding areas. So
Okay.
they basically base that on population density. So
Okay.
once you get out of the city of Lansing, the population is a lower density, and then they start allowing that program. Eaton Rapids, there's a lot of areas around us that we help
Okay.
with that program.
So if somebody wanted a rural development loan,
Yep.
and they want to check to make sure that the property is in a rural development area,
Yep.
what website do they check for that?
They would just go to USDA's website, or
Oh,
they would
okay.
contact me directly.
Okay, what other programs are out there for buyers?
We have MISHTA, which is our state program, and it is designed for first-time home buyers or
Okay.
buyers that have not owned a home in the last 3 years. They can
Okay.
be eligible again. Or if they're buying a house in the city of Lansing, it's considered targeted, and it doesn't matter if you've owned a home in the last 3 years.
Okay,
So that's a variation. And MISHTA can be done as a DPA, which is down payment assistance.
okay,
And there's two versions. There's $7,500 of help, and there's
Okay.
$10,000 of help depending on the zip code the property is
code.
located in.
okay,
MISHTA does have income limits, so your household income has to be below what they set for your family
Okay.
size. And they do consider every person that's an adult in your household, they consider that income, not household income.
Oh,
So if you have
okay.
an adult children that are maybe going to college but working, that income has to be put into the mortgage
Oh,
qualification. So,
Awesome.
so they're a little bit tricky. Again,
Okay.
we sift through that. In most cases, the the rural development is a better product than the MISHA if it's available for the area.
Okay.
If not, that becomes an area that does work for us and does provide solutions.
Okay. There's more programs?
There is
Renovation loans.
Yes.
It's like a 203K loan.
Exactly. It's an
And then there's-
FHA loan,
Yeah.
except it allows for renovation and only requires a 3.5% down payment.
Okay.
And so you can buy a house, which I call the outdated 70s house. And maybe it's got orange shag carpeting and outdated appliances.
Okay.
And they want to go in and just do some basic improvements to the home.
Okay.
And that's called a streamline, which is a very simple 203K.
Okay.
The
Awesome.
the extreme is maybe somebody's going to buy a church that's going to be converted to a house, or they're going to buy a house and put an addition on it. That is a full 203K.
Oh,
And you
okay.
can do those as well. They just take
Okay.
a lot more work and a lot more information to accomplish this. And what the appraiser does on a 203K is they look at the home price up front,
Okay.
and they're going to look at all the improvements, and they're going to say, when you're done with that home and those improvements, is that home worth the value that you're putting into it?
Okay.
So that's how a 203K loan works.
Okay, awesome. Okay, and then you often hear people, a lot of times, might be discouraged by using a renovation loan because people might say, oh, it's time consuming, you got to use licensed contractors and all of that. Is it really that difficult getting a renovation loan, and is it really that cumbersome?
It definitely is more involved than a normal mortgage.
Okay.
And if you're doing the streamline, which is just the carpet, the appliances, that is pretty easy to navigate through.
Okay.
The full renovation, yes, you're getting licensed contractors, you're getting bids.
Okay.
There's actually an oversight person in FHA that looks at all the information
Okay.
and compiles it together for the appraiser. So it's a little bit more involved. The benefit for the buyer looking at a 203K loan though
Okay.
is that they're buying a home that the seller is not going to be taxed with any repairs or inspections.
Okay.
So it's almost like a conventional loan where they don't have to worry about anything.
Okay.
Because they're going to fix all that after closing.
Okay.
So with that gives them buying power.
Okay.
So it's a very good loan for
Right.
that. And the other benefit is they can pick out what they want in the home.
Okay.
If they're going to do a kitchen, what cupboards do you want, and what countertops, and so they can actually pick out a home and make it to their taste and make it
Exactly.
new without having to take a home that maybe isn't exactly what they want, but they're just settling because that's what they can
Okay.
find.
All right. So we talk about the various loan programs, and I'm pretty certain that with the various loan programs, that there are certain credit scores for each of those loan programs. So I would like to know approximately what the minimum score might be for FHA versus a conventional versus a rural development.
Absolutely. FHA is the most lenient, and they will actually let you go down to a 600 credit score.
600 credit
Yep.
score. So you hear that, everybody out
Yep.
there? 600 credit score can get you in a house.
Yep.
Okay.
And then rural development is 620.
620 for rural development.
Yep. Conventional, you really need to be at least a 660 score, ideally
Okay.
into a 700. Conventional is very strict right now in the current environment.
Okay.
And we have to be very careful with that. And that's, if you're doing conventional, you definitely want to be pre-approved.
Okay.
Because if you're below a 700 credit score, it's not just a score that is actually taken into account.
Yeah.
When we run approvals, there's two agencies, which is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Okay.
And they have their own approval engines, which are called Desktop Underwriter and Loan Prospector.
Okay.
And they take all the information, and they don't just look at the credit score, they look at what makes up the credit score. So if somebody has a 700 credit score, but maybe they only have 2 loans that have 4 months of history on it,
Okay.
that loan probably will not get approved even though it has a 700 credit score.
Uh-huh.
So again, to your point, this is why it's so important to get pre-approved.
Okay. Very
Because-
important.
Because somebody say, well, I have a 700 credit score, I can get a mortgage.
Right.
No, that's not always
necessarily.
true.
Okay.
That's not always
Awesome.
true.
So we've talked about applying for a mortgage. We've talked about B, the various programs. We talked about C also, the financial information that they would need. So now, in this current environment in 2021, it's like we are writing so many offers as real estate agents, and it is a lot more cumbersome these days to get those offers accepted. So I would like for you to tell us, and I'm sure people out here want to know, what is the strategy to use to get an offer accepted above any other offer in this tough market right now?
Yeah, there's basically two main strategies. One is a tactic that's called bid over asking.
Bid over asking price.
And the reason why we have that is when a appraiser looks at a home that somebody's purchased, they're going to look at what homes have sold recently in comparison. So when you have something that's going up in value, which homes are inflating right now, they're appreciating, is the homes that sold last month hadn't appreciated yet.
Okay.
So there's a gap between what houses appraised for and what they're currently worth.
Oh, okay.
So with that gap, a buyer can say, well, I want to buy this $200,000 house, and I'm going to offer $220,000 to buy that house.
Okay.
And they're going to obviously bid over asking. With that, they know from data I can supply them with how long it takes a house to actually reach that value if it's not there.
Okay.
So they can make that decision.
Okay.
And we see that every day, and as that's continuing, we're seeing less and less cases where somebody will actually offer over asking price, bid over it, and the house does appraise it.
Oh,
so we're seeing appraisals actually starting to catch up now.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
this
that's
is
good.
and this is kind of like the slinky effect we see with this.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, the house is your asset. And whenever you're paying over list price for a house, you need to determine what's it worth in the future.
Okay.
And also how long you're going to live there.
Okay.
If you're going to live there for 20 years and you're going to pay $20,000 more worth a day, that's going to be negligible 10 years from now.
Okay.
So the shorter the time frame you're going to be in a house, the more critical is what you pay for it today.
Okay. So actually overbidding on a house is not that bad.
No.
Okay.
No.
Awesome. Okay. So, and then you're saying that with appraisal guarantees, we're seeing where people are not having to use that appraisal guarantee and pay so much money because the appraisals are catching up with the values of currently now.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. I had one just come in today, and it was a house that was listed at 112, and they actually offered 130, and it appraised at 130.
Okay.
So we're seeing this catch up now, but it does take time, and when you have houses that are actually in smaller communities, there's less sales to compare it to.
Right.
So we are seeing this
Okay.
repair.
Now, one critical thing we need to talk about, because myself as a real estate agent, I've had some instances to happen where, like the day before the closing comes up, we can't close because something has happened. For example, like the buyer might retire from their job and they don't tell anybody because they don't think that anybody's going to be checking at the last moment.
Or they buy a new car.
Or they buy a new car. So tell us about some things that buyers should never ever do when they are getting ready to purchase a home, before they close and all that stuff. What are the must things or the things they must never do?
When somebody's buying a home, they really need to just pause their finances. Meaning you don't want to spend money you don't have to. You still have to pay your bills on time, which is extremely important for credit.
Right.
And you got to pay your utilities and your food, and your living expenses.
Right.
But you should really not buy anything extra.
Okay.
So you want to have extra money to back you up. You have your cost of the house, which is expensive.
Yes.
And then you have moving expenses. You have utilities to turn on. You have other expenses that are going to be coming up when you buy a new home. You're going to be excited. You might want to put new carpet in. There's things you might want to do.
Right.
To take action on those things, you want to wait till you close, because until you're close on the home, it's not final.
Right.
So that means don't go buy a new car, don't get a rent to own, don't open new credit. By not spending any extra money, you're going to keep your credit cards down. You're not going to be charging them up, which will lower your credit score. All these things are going to make the process smoother till the end, and make it a more enjoyable experience.
Okay, so don't quit your jobs out there.
No.
Don't go lease a car.
Yeah.
Don't go put a Hawaii vacation on your credit card. And remember, they check your credit even the day of closing sometimes, don't
Yes,
they?
absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome. Now, Rick, I would like to know one important final question.
Sure.
Why should someone call you to be their mortgage lender?
Well, I've done this again, like I said, for 30 years.
Okay.
I take a lot of pride in what I do. If
Okay.
anyone looks at my Zillow reviews, I have 5-star reviews. And they're not just Rick did a nice job. They are
Yes.
stories that have helped families and have changed their
Okay,
life.
yeah.
As a lender, we're one of the largest lenders in the country, not just
Okay.
Michigan, which means that we have very low interest rates on all our products. That's why we go down to 600 score on FHA, because
Yes.
we are a direct lender.
Okay.
Which means that we actually back our mortgages directly to the agencies.
Okay.
And we keep the mortgages and we service them.
All
So
right.
they work with me at the beginning, they work with me through the life of the mortgage, which is great.
Okay.
And along with that, since we are such a large lender, we have all the products available that are out there. There's nothing that we don't have. Somebody doesn't ever come to me and say, well, I really think I might want to look at MISHDA. I have to talk to a different lender. Nobody ever has that conversation with me because we have every product out there. Plus, like the no income verification investments, those are unique just to us.
Oh,
So we have
okay.
everything plus.
Okay,
What's out
awesome.
there.
Okay, and then I want to add this. I have called Rick on the weekends at 8 p.m. and on holidays, and when I'm in a panic mode with a difficult situation, and that's one reason why I love working with him, because he will pick up the phone.
Always.
Yes, and if he doesn't pick up the phone, he will call me back. I'm not talking about call me back tomorrow. He'll call me back. And so how does somebody get in touch with you, Rick?
They just call me. My cell number, I've had the same cell number for 30 years.
Okay.
So it's 616-437-5826. Feel free to text me, call me anytime.
Okay.
I'm available 90% of the time. I got to sleep once in a while. So.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And so then if you...
Your email.
Oh, your email.
Oh, yes, and my email is just my name. It's Rick.Llewellyn, Lewellyn, @financeofamerica.com.
Awesome. And then I want to thank everybody for watching Wine with Wanda Wednesday. And I want to thank my significant other, Daniel Thomas, for being patient and for helping us film this. I want to thank you for tuning in. And when you want to buy a home or sell a home, call Wanda is the one at 517-719-8240. And my email address is very easy to remember. It is wandaistheone@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
As always, create an awesome day and come to Chef Gun for your Chinese dinner. It's fabulous here. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's giving them a tour of the restaurant.
Right.
Okay. Awesome.
Very nice restaurant.
Yes.